Hi there, welcome to this tutorial on how to set up Ionic Shop, which is basically an e-commerce template built with Ionic and which has integrated payments which we process through Stripe. Based on your feedback and some of your comments, someone requested to make a video on how to set everything up. So here it is. So the first thing you will get when you download the package is a couple of folders. So this is basically what you get. You get Firebase security rules and admin, the Ionic app, the server side, and screenshots, which you can discard. And the reason for this is that because the whole project is set up in three functions which work all together. And the first thing what we need to do is we need to set up Stripe. We need to set up Firebase before we can proceed. So let's head over to Firebase. That's the first step. After you've created your account, here I'm already logged in, you will see your own dashboard. If you used before, you will know how it works. If not, then you will need to add an app. So what you can do is add an app name, add an app URL, and create a new app. After you've done that, you go into your app. So let's take the predefined template that I already took. And you enter into your app dashboard. Here on the left, you see a couple of fields like data, security, analytics, and which we will cover later. The first thing what you need to do is set up this field, admin. And in order to do that, the first thing we need to do is register an email address, which we're going to be using for the admin panel, which is basically going to be the email address you use to log into your admin panel. So let's head over to login and out. First thing we do is enable email and password authentication, so you have to check this one on. Then you scroll down and you press on add user. Here we enter your email at domain.com and your password. This is going to be what you're going to be using for that. After you've done that, which I already did it here, you will get to see an user ID. This is the user ID that you need to copy. So select the email address that you want to use for your admin panel. And copy this one by Ctrl+C. Then go back to data and add this field admin and paste the value. So to show you how it works, I'm going to just do a test dashboard. So to cover everything in completeness. So what you do is when you arrive here, you will see something like probably the name of your app. You just hover over it and you press on the green button. Add as a name admin, and as a value you add your ID which you just copied. So it's going to be app ID. And app ID should have done actually, just to give you a complete example so you don't get confused. So this is what you do. And obviously you can change this at any time in the future. So that's step one. Now we have a login and out and we have security rules. So the second thing we need to do is host our admin panel. And for that I usually use Cloud9 because I think it's quite easy to set up. It's like a cloud environment. And you can of course do this also locally. If you're having a Mac, it's probably easier. Working on Windows has some difficulties in that sense. And I'm going to just show you, what I do. Basically, you can just follow the same steps even if you're working locally. So first thing is I create a new workspace, which corresponds to your computer as creating a new folder. And so just to remind you, I do this on cloud9.io, that you can create an account. So you add your workspace name, let's say Ionic Shop admin part of the Ionic Shop. For the moment I'll keep it public, but you can also put it private. Then subsequently select a Node.js template. I use that as a standard. We're not going to be using Node.js, but I think it's handy with the built-in features that come with them. And we press on create a workspace. Okay, so it will be creating the container in that sense. While this is happening, maybe we can set up already for the domain for the workspace. And you can do that by going into your folders and pressing on admin and going to this file app.js. I'm going to open Atom Editor, or you can use any editor that you work with, and I'm going to edit one field, and that's this one, the Firebase URL. This is an important field, and it basically links to your backend, your Firebase. And you can obtain this field by going to your dashboard and copy this domain which you have created here. As you can see, I already did that. Where's my domain? I already did that, so you can find it already here. So this you need to replace with your own, don't use mine. So that's it. And then you have pre-configured your admin panel, and let's see if the admin is done. Yes, it is. So if you're using Cloud9, what I usually do is just delete all the files here. Yes to all. Then I go to my folder, which is the admin, and I just copy, paste everything here. Okay, it's only take some time. So 500 files. You can probably, I will not cover anything, so I will wait for this to finish. So if you're watching this video, you can fast forward now. In the meantime, does anyone know, okay, it's very quick. Does anyone know why my Atom Editor icon disappeared? If you know that, please comment. It would be really appreciated. Still uploading. A lot of files in there. Almost done. Okay, that didn't take too long. Right. So now we have everything. We're just going to check that we have done everything properly. Yes, we did. Then we open index.html and we press in the top on run. So now your Ionic shop is hosted online. Just as a side note, because we're doing this in Cloud9, it might be that after a period of time, let's say 4 days, if you're not active, that this process stops. You can avoid this by paying, or you can just log in every 4 days and press on run again, so if it stops. So to check what we've done, so now you've created our admin. If you go to this page, which you can copy from here, you will see your admin panel. And we have already finished steps 1 to 5. Register yourself as new user, as specified user with administrative rights. So I already did that. I'm going to just use my email address, which I registered, to enter the admin panel. And I'm going to sign in. And that's it. I'm signed in, and now I can edit and manage my items. So here are my past items. I can add items, and that's it. So if you get an overview of all the functionalities, please have a look at the other video which explains or shows the demo of it. So that's it. Now you can use this always to manage your products. Let's head over to the second step. So I'm just going to go back to my dashboard, and again I'm using Cloud9 for this purpose because I love it, and that is the second folder, which is the Node server side. Node server side is basically the part that you host also on a cloud server like Cloud9 or Roku, if you want to be able to run it all the time, and which will process your payments. And they will process your payments by using HTTP requests. So again, what we do is we create a new workspace. We put a name, Ionic shop server of Ionic shop. And here it's crucial that we select Node.js because it will be a Node.js package. So we press on create JS. Then again, we will need, once this is set up, we will need to set up a couple of things. Creating the workspace could be a little bit quicker. Again, if you are familiar with using Node.js locally, then you can also do that. The only thing is that you will need to push it eventually to a cloud server like Heroku, and the instructions for that are provided in the documentation. So again, what I do is delete all the files, predefined files. I go to my folder and I copy paste everything in. I drag it. Okay, so now we have done that. We check what package the JSON is correctly specified, so we need to install these dependencies, and it's really easy by just running npm install. So this will go to your package.json and it will install all the necessary node modules. Let's hope everything goes well. Yes. That's it. Done. Okay, so that is step 2. Now, step 3, and that is Stripe. So we need to host to have a way to accept payments, and for that we use Stripe. So what you do is you go to stripe.com. If you already have an account, you can log in by going to your dashboard, or you can create a new account. Probably there's a sign up when you log out. After you've done that, you need to obtain your API keys. So do that by visiting this address. I will not do that now because I already obtained my API keys, but just really simple. And you need to obtain them there. And I also don't want to expose my API keys. So I have obtained some other test API keys, which are here. So the API keys do look something like this: SKey test and PKey test. This is your secret API key, and this is your publishable API key. So the secret API key is the one we're going to be needing for the Ionic shop server. So let's copy this API key and let's go to server.js. As you see here in the top, it requests my Stripe API secret key. So you just replace it, and that's it. Save everything, and now we can run the server. So let's run it. If everything goes well, you will see magic happens by the certain port. Yes, that's it. Okay, and now what you need to do is copy this email, this link. Basically, this is the location of your Stripe server. However, if you're using, if you are hosting it on Heroku, like you might do, let me show you an example. This is the Noodlio page. So if you are into this step of the documentation, let me just go Heroku. Then you can follow these following commands: git init, git add, git commit, Heroku create, and git push Heroku create. So you just want that here: git init, git add a, git commit first, and then you do Heroku create, and then you do git push Heroku master. When you do that, you will obtain a domain name after everything has been successfully configured, which looks something like this: followingwindherokuapp.com. This one, so if you host it on Heroku, then this is your Stripe server, with of course HTTPS in front. And if you're hosting it on Cloud9, then this is your server. Since we're hosting it on Cloud9, I'm going to copy this URL. Save it here so I know where it is, and this is the one we're going to be using in the Ionic app to make the calls. Again, a side note: if you're hosting it on Cloud9, your workspace will go in hibernation mode after 3 or 4 days, meaning that you can't accept payments. Again, you can solve this by taking a paid plan at Heroku, or you can push it to at Cloud9, or you can push it to Heroku. But Heroku again only runs for 18 hours, so you will need to pay $7 per month to have it running 24/7. Actually, I can show it to you, what I mean. If you go to Heroku/pricing, you will need this one, the hobby, which basically says it never sleeps and you have multiple workers for power in a month. So you can just follow the steps here needed to register and to get your account set up. So when you run the bash Heroku create, it will ask you for your credential details and this one of the account you have. So just log in with that and that's it. Okay, let's head over to the final step, which is to set up the Stripe app or the Ionic app. For that, we go back to our 3 folders and we head over to Ionic app. We go to this file, app.js again, and here we see 3 constants which we need to replace. First one is the Firebase O. Firebase O is simply this. We replace that as follows. Second is the server-side O. So where did we post our payment? Well, we did it on Cloud9, so this is our role. Make sure you don't have any white spaces left. And the last step is the Stripe API publishable key. So again, you could have obtained it, and it looks something like this. You could have obtained it by going to the address that is specified, so this one. As you can see here in the top left dashboard, the stripe.com/account/API keys. Okay, and we replace it as follows. That's it. Now, if you have used Ionic before, you know what to do. If not, you will need to follow the following steps. Ionic framework gets started. First, make sure that Node.js is installed in your workspace where you can be working. So Node.js 4 as it says. Then when you go, you will need to follow these instructions. And so basically you open your command console locally. So I'm working now locally, but you can do the same, to be honest, on Cloud9. So you could, if you don't have it set up, you could just create a new workspace in Node.js and you can have it running. I'm just thinking I can do that, but to set everything up, it will maybe cost some time before. Now, we'll just do work locally at the moment. So you will need to run the following commands: npm install gcordova. So once again, you can do this in Cloud9, create a new workspace, run it, and etc. But I'm doing it locally because I prefer working like that. So I go to my git cmd or my console, whatever you're using, and I enter this. I already did that, so I have Ionic and Cordova installed on my computer, so I will skip that. The only thing I need to do is go into my appropriate folder. So that is the Ionic app. So what I do is cd dev. Okay, so go to cd Ionic shop. This is the folder you got. So okay, and then I go into my Ionic app. Okay, so I entered this one. And then to test it, you can just run the Ionic serve. So this will set up Ionic for you, and so you can test it locally. Once again, if you're doing it on Cloud9, then don't do Ionic serve, then just press the button run. Because Cloud9 has its own special ports, etc. So you want to be avoiding that. Okay, let me see what the status is. Okay, so we have a running dev server on localhost 8100. Let's first go into the phone mode. Press here. And let me go to localhost. You will see that our app is running. And now go to our account. if it's appropriate, we can probably log in. Just test if everything has been set up properly. Yes, it has. Perfect. So that's it. And now if you want to do changes, of course, you can adjust all the sides. And the Stripe, let's do actually a payment to just see if it's working. Okay, I'm gonna add one to the cart. Seed order. Pay with Stripe. So because we're testing this locally, okay, it works. So we're on the test mode. Because we're testing this locally, just do Noodlio. Okay. Perfect, it has worked. To test out on the server, you can see here that we got some kind of charge details, some console logs, and it has been properly processed. So that's it. Nothing more to explain, to be honest. If you have questions, please email me to noodlio@cyberresource.com or just leave a comment on Noodlio itself. You can find documentation on Noodlio. It's one of the featured products at the moment on the Stripe shop. And I also want to notify that if you haven't purchased this template yet, I recommend you to do it on Noodlio since it's much cheaper. Let me see here, the price is just $18 all inclusive. Actually, for everything that I publish, first have a look on Noodlio because there are no fees, hidden fees, etc. on this marketplace. I think that on Code Canyon you pay probably something like $90 plus some additional seller fees, so you pay something like $25. $7 you can spend otherwise. That's it. Nothing more to tell you at the moment. I hope you enjoyed it, and again, if you have questions, please email me.